As local women's hockey leagues gain momentum in Toronto, could they be unlocking the potential of the sports in general? Join me with Jane Murphy from the Women's Hockey Club of Toronto as we talk about hockey leagues with women. Hi, Jane.
Hi, Lee.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
It is, we've known each other for so many years, and it is really a joy and privilege to actually be able to focus our conversation about Women's Hockey Club of Toronto, which is what brought us together, actually.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'll tell you about my hockey.
Yes. Tell me about your hockey.
The hockey side of me, yes. Actually, my mother played hockey for Queen's University in 1950. And I brought a picture that was in the Toronto Telegram when Queen's played University of Toronto. This is my mother hopping over the boards at Varsity Stadium. And this was in the Toronto paper. So ironically, she stopped playing after this year. You know,
right.
it was the time was women got married, had children, didn't have time for things like hockey. So her friends were very much the same thing. Yeah. And I think hockey died out at the varsity level for a number of years after that. And when I was growing up, there certainly wasn't women's hockey. Can I take this down? There certainly wasn't hockey for girls.
Yeah.
I mean, there was boys hockey, all kinds of boys hockey, but nothing for girls. Yeah. So I never really even thought about it again until my daughter was about 8, and she was already playing soccer and was a very good athlete. And one of her friends said, "I'm going to join a girls' hockey league. Do you want to join?" So she could barely skate at the time, but she said, "Sure, yeah, I'd like to." And she had a blast. Yeah. So, we were getting her into all sorts of skating lessons and things, and things at Moss Park, which is where the Women's Hockey Club of Toronto plays. Yeah. And while she was at this, they'd have the girls changing in the same change room as the women, because they had the children's division and then the adult division. Yeah. So there were about 3 girls in the children's and about 3 women in the adult. So they all used the same change room. And we got chatting with the women from the league. And one of the women that ran the league, Joey Gladding, said to me, "You should come out. You should come out and try it." And I said, "I really?" And she says, "Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is a very inclusive league." And, so I decided, sure, give it a try. And so, sort of the rest is history.
Absolutely.
I actually learned how to play hockey, and I know the rules. But so I played for several years in the league, and then I started volunteering to be team rep and things like that. And one thing that really bothered me was people couldn't tell me how many games my players had missed. Oh. They'd say, "Oh, let me figure it out, because if you miss a certain number of games, you're not eligible for playoffs."
Right.
So nobody could tell me. So I said, "Next year, I'm going to do the attendance."
Oh, and then you were hooked.
And then, you just send it out to people and say, this person's missed 7 games. This person's. So I started doing that. And then when I retired, I took early retirement and I joined the collective. And so, I worked closely with Joey for a number of years. And then, when she retired, I sort of was the de facto
leader.
And everybody would say, "Oh, well, it's your league, Jane." And I said, "No, it's not." I said, "I work with this group of people, and we do this together." And over the years, we've had some amazing people on the collective, like just really great people. And people will, take something like the hockey sweaters. I mean, that sounds like something that's pretty trivial. Yeah. But when you've got 10, 12 teams and you're trying to get all the hockey sweaters back for the next season, it's not trivial.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, just things like that, and social events, the banquet, people take things and run with it, which is really great. And sponsorships. This year we had a couple of sponsors leave. So we put out word and we got a couple of new sponsors. So, which brings me to, these are our hockey sweaters. And one of our new sponsors this year is
Liku.ca.
I
love that. It's so cool. I love it. I can't wait to. This is my first time seeing it.
My daughter and I are going to be playing on that team. So we hope that our sponsor will come out and celebrate our wins, ties, losses with
all
us.
of that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's so great. It's so cool. I'm so excited about it. I mean, our journey into this was Women's Hockey Club of Toronto is known to be very welcoming and supportive of people who've never played hockey.
Yeah.
And I think it can be very intimidating. And the story that you started with your mom in the 1950s playing, and then all of a sudden, the next chapter of your life is get married, have kids, and then you put that away.
Yeah.
But you were telling me that, in like recently, before she passed away, that was an important memory.
It was, yes. For the last, COVID was very difficult, obviously. So my siblings and I were talking with my mother every other day. Like my sister and I would take turns in the afternoon, and my brothers would take turns in the evening. So she had at least 2 phone calls every day, and so I got a lot more information out of her, and when I'd go to visit, she'd reminisce about her hockey days and, how much fun she had. And she said that when they'd go to the Queen's reunions, my dad would go for his year. She would go for when her hockey friends were going, and they'd all get together. And in those days, it was, you're writing letters. It wasn't email or anything. You're writing letters. Yeah. And so it'd be, I'm going to go to the reunion this year. Oh, so am I. So they'd all get together and just sort of, relive their glory days at the Queen's reunions. So, she said it was one of the best times of her life and just so much fun. But you talk about things, things moving forward.
Yeah.
I asked her one time, I said, well, what was your hockey number? She said, I don't know. She said it was a different, it just depended. And she said, we had a box, and the box had the hockey equipment, which in those days was like, I think, shin pads, pants, not a whole lot else.
Yeah.
And they each had their own stick, skates, and hockey gloves. So, and sweaters. So she said, we go into the dressing room, you pick out what you need out of the box, and that included sweaters. So, just whatever you picked out, that was your number for that game. And this is a varsity team.
Yeah.
And it was all hand-me-down stuff from the men's team.
Right.
So, and I said, did anyone ever wash it? And she said, oh, I don't think so.
This comes back to why the hockey sweater is very important.
Yes. So, and, she had great memories. They'd do road trips, and they'd, sleep on the floor in gymnasium at the university they'd go to. Or she said one time they splurged and got a hotel room. And she said, so the entire team slept in one hotel room and the coach slept in the bathtub.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's hilarious.
So, but she just, she'd come out with all this stuff, and it was just, so amazing to, just see her light up. And, hockey was a very big thing for her. And it's really unfortunate that, it just sort of fizzled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, there's been periods where it's had its ebbs and flows, but it's so heartwarming to hear that there was a varsity team in the 50s.
In the 50s, yeah.
But even now, right? Like there's a lot of controversy around, gender parity in terms of representation in sports, and why isn't it that women's sports is seen with the same lens as men's sports? And I can't, I'm trying to think which sports club it was, but it was a hockey thing, and they were like showing this interactive, like really fast paced, fast moving commercial of people playing hockey. But what they had done was they took the AI of the heads of women out and put men to make it look really great. And then they said, hey, you think you're watching men playing soccer? No, that was women. We just artificially changed it so that you can see women's soccer is just as exciting as men's.
Yeah.
And I think it's very much the same for in the Olympics when our Canadian women's hockey team was Olympic gold.
Yeah.
That's what, and our men's weren't, you know what I mean? Like it's really important. And so I think that's something that's really important for us to talk about, and why Women's Hockey Club of Toronto is so important.
Yeah.
Can you talk
Women's Hockey Club of Toronto, when it was started by a small group of gay women that wanted a place to play where they'd feel, safe and welcome. So they set up this league, and I think it was only a few teams at the beginning. And one of those women was Jennifer Hart, who just like exemplifies the spirit of the league. She's just an absolutely incredible person. And the first year I played in the league, I was fortunate enough to play with her. And my daughter, who was in her second year of hockey, said, I can't wait to play in the league so I can play with people like Jennifer Hart.
Wow.
And so she sort of had this hero worship of Jennifer Hart that carried on. And, she'd meet Jennifer at different things, and she'd, just be like starstruck. And it was wonderful. And Jennifer was, just so, one time she gave her signed hockey jersey from the gay games, and Brenda was just on, over the moon. So, I think it's very important for girls to have idols like that.
Yeah.
And another one was Angela James. She never played in the league, but she used to ref in our league.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Angela James used to ref in our league. And Brenda would go up and ask her for her autograph after the game.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So, and Angela James is another person. I mean, just so approachable, so nice, just wonderful, wonderful person. But again, getting back to the origins of the league, it was a lot of gay women found it really difficult to be themselves in hockey. And so this was the idea behind the Women's Hockey Club of Toronto. And over the years, it's expanded to include trans people and non-binary and still very inclusive, and of course allies.
Yes.
But it's still a really nice place for young gay women that are just sort of finding their way around to have a social place where they can come and be welcome and accepted. And, of course that goes for trans and bi and everything. But it is, I think, still a really important aspect is that we are very inclusive, and it is a social league as well.
Yeah.
That, we try to have a few social events during the year, and, everybody goes out to, used to be the Richmond Rogue, but that's no longer. So the Banknote now we go to, they're one of our sponsors, and great place to go. So, it still serves a real function in the community, I think.
I agree. I mean, I think also that whole idea of your story, it's WHCT has been around for 30 years now?
Yeah, this is the 30th year it's not the 30th season because we missed one for COVID. The 2020-2021 season we didn't play, but this is the 30th year of the league.
It's amazing.
So, yeah, it's still going strong.
And you've been playing for how long?
27 years.
I mean, that's a testament, right? Like the
yes,
community.
You would think I would be good by this time, but ask my daughter.
Well, you know, she's wonderful. Brenda's such a wonderful person. And
she is, yes.
You know, I mean, the fact that she was playing and then you started playing, it's that modeling, right?
Yes,
I mean, the whole reason why I got involved with WHCT way back when is because my wife was, I think, in her 30s saying, I've never played hockey. I've always wanted to play hockey. I can barely skate. Mm-hmm. And this was the league that was like really welcoming. And, you know, you have your range of people who've never played to, I mean, I think it's growing now because more and more people like Brenda who grew up playing hockey are like that AAA like hockey player.
Yeah. Well, she's not a AAA, but we do get people even stronger. Yes. Yeah. So it's a challenge because you've got two types of people that are joining the league now. Predominantly younger people, and they're either people that have been playing since they were born, or people that are just thinking, I might like to take it up. Yeah. So it's
matching skill sets.
Yeah, and it's always a tough thing to try to put teams together because particularly with the gay aspect, you've got partners, you've got exes.
Oh gosh! Oh my goodness! That's like
I can play with this person, but I cannot play with this person.
Right.
Yeah, so
it becomes a very social experiment type of thing.
Yeah, but one of the nice things is we limit the number of people you can sign up with, so it doesn't become cliquey.
Yeah,
and I find that when I go on the ice, there's always somebody that I have played with before on the ice with me, and that sort of brings the tensions down and makes it a little friendlier.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I think that's one thing that's lovely about this league because people are friends and people are socialized with each other and want to see each other and do things with each other. And so that's really important.
Yeah. And a lot of people have met their partners, their wives,
wow.
And a lot of people, because they've met here, they go on to play in, say, not so baseball or pink turf soccer. So they get to, and then they'll ask their friends from pink turf, do you want to come over? Or from not so, do you want to come over to, and so it's nice. And they're trying to get something together where all of the gay sports leagues do things together. Which is great because you meet new people and
it makes it a community. I mean, it's really about community building.
Yeah. The community is a very important piece that you don't feel so isolated.
Yeah,
like a lot of people. Well, it was probably more so a number of years back, but a number of people that were just finding themselves found it very isolating. So now, you've got queer sports leagues that you can join and meet like-minded people. And it's not necessarily a drinking thing. Which, a lot of things are, you go to a bar, you go to,
Well, there's a lot of interest, right? Like people like, what I think with Women's Hockey Club of Toronto is like you're brought together by the sportsmanship of you're in a team.
Yeah.
So you automatically have a group of players that you can play with. You learn skills like on ice skills, but then you also have camaraderie and you also have this wonderful network. I mean, I know that I've met so many wonderful, amazing players who we're friends with now. And there's so much richness in those relationships.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes Women's Hockey Club Toronto really special. And I think anybody who's interested in playing hockey should, and wants a space that's inclusive and really, I think, community oriented.
Yes.
And I think that's why so many people I know are like, oh, I love this hockey club. People are just like, just come, don't worry. You don't have to know how to play. Like, I mean, for me, I don't have any skills, but I served as a member of the collective, which was really fun.
Yeah.
Right. Because I was there to support my wife playing hockey as, rah, rah, rah. But it was really great to be involved.
Yes.
And so I think
it was great to have you too.
Thank you. I mean,
your name still pops up as on the website as one of the yeah.
No, and I really enjoy it, and I think that's one of the things I wanted to talk about was, it's such a special. I don't know if it's a secret, but it's such a special club, and everybody comes for that community.
Yeah.
What do you think about right now in sports when we talk about those challenges of pro sports and representation in women's sports? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Like with this new professional women's hockey league, they're getting some money into it. They're getting some high value people running it so that that it's going to take off. And they're starting out small, 6 teams. Yeah. They're all relatively close together. They're not like out on the West Coast, and they're all sort of in the same general geographic area. And I think it'll be great. And for girls to be able to go and watch Olympic players and other players, obviously, playing on a regular basis. Yeah. Pure gold. Yeah. I mean, for girls to see that they can aspire to be a professional hockey player. Yeah. That's huge.
Well, it's just like what you said about Brenda, seeing Jennifer Hart, right? Or Angela Reef and saying, oh, what? I can play hockey too.
Yes.
Is so important to see that. Like, to see it is to believe it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. To see someone like you doing what you want to do. Yeah. It's the same in any field, women doctors, just anything that they can emulate, they can see, this is something I could do too. Yeah. So I think this new professional league is really a huge step in the right direction.
What do you think we can do to support it?
Go to the games. Go to the games, buy the merch. Yeah.
Because I think
talk about it, post about it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right. Just create some momentum so that people say, hey,
get the buzz going.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we need that. We definitely need to support women athletes and really get it to that level where it is very exciting.
It is.
I mean, I remember like when hockey Olympics would start, people would be like, oh, wait, what's happening? And then it would be like, let's go watch it at the local pub. And they're like, no, we're watching the men's hockey team. Right. Yeah. And they're like, no, but this is the Olympics. This is the gold medal game. Like, we didn't put it on. So then
on Saturday nights, if there was women's hockey, it would be on.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So I think going out, supporting is really important. We need to do more of that. Like here in Toronto, we have a league that already supports it. There's many other wonderful leagues as well, all across Ontario. And what would your advice be for people who are interested in playing hockey or joining a league?
I'd say try to find a hockey skills thing first.
Right.
So learn a little bit about the game and then go out and join a league. Yeah. Because you're going to learn by playing. And also in Toronto, they have a number of shinny slots at the outdoor rinks in the winter.
Drop in.
So drop in and give it a try.
Is it intimidating? Do you know what I mean? Like if you've never played and you don't really know anyone?
I guess it could be.
Yeah. My general sense is that people are always welcoming and they're like, oh, just come and play, and it's low stakes, really.
Yeah. I think, and I hate to sound sexist, but I think women are more welcoming of that than men. And a lot of men I know say that too, like, oh God, we wouldn't want beginners in our league.
Right.
But Yeah, I think women tend to be more welcoming of that.
Yeah.
And,
I think the point that you made right now about men not wanting like someone who's a beginner, I think especially with Shinny, like everybody who I've heard who plays women's hockey or drop in are like, no, it doesn't matter if you've never played before, just come.
yeah.
And so there's like low stakes, nobody's like judging you. They're like, just play, we'll have a good time. And that's really good.
And, you know, there's no referees, there's no score. So you just go out there and
have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about the story that we started with your mom and the fact that, you know, from the 50s being an active player and then, you know, playing for a year and then, you know, moving on with a family and everything. But that is a highlight. That was a thread that kind of brought the spark and the joy. And that we need to celebrate that.
Yeah.
And we need to have more spaces like that so that people can really find their place and just find an activity. Like it's healthy on so many levels and you learn something and you meet really cool people.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, one of the things that I ask is always about a quote, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I love the quote that you gave, which is by RFK. Some people see things as they are and say, why? I dream things that never were and say, why not? Talk to me about that quote.
I just think like in terms of being a woman, there are just so many areas that women are basically second-class citizens. Mm-hmm. And I just think like, why can't women do the same things as men? Why can't they be treated the same?
Yeah.
Why do men have the right to tell women how they should be behaving and whatever? So it's sort of so I'm sort of saying why, not why not.
Yeah,
but it's more, you know, why not have women do the same things?
Yeah, so, and to question that, question the status quo.
To question the status quo, yes.
Yeah, I love that. I think one of the things that I really want to share is, you know, your involvement in WHCT has been integral to maintaining the spirit from, you know, Joey Gladding and Jennifer Hart. And I think that carries through, right? It's the legacy pieces and the mentorship of like, hey, we're creating a space for everyone. You've been involved for over 27 years. I get your emails where like, wait, did you return your sweater? Did you do this? And just encouraging people and people stay on, right? And it's a testament that you've been around for 27 years actively and that the league is growing and growing strong.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's community. And it's the silent, you know, you are always so humble and you're always so gracious, but you are so much of the heart of WHCT.
Well, thank you.
I mean it. I totally mean it. And that's why I was like, come on, Jane, we got to talk about this because that's what makes this league amazing. And there's so many women who have stepped forward and they just do it not because they want recognition, but because they want to help make it a little bit better.
Yeah.
And a little bit better has made it successful over this 30-year span.
Yeah.
So it's really something that I think that needs to be celebrated. And, you know, like we just need to recognize all the people who just, you know, they put their heads down, they just do the work because you work tirelessly. Like even when you go up to your cottage or you're always like, okay, like how do we make this better? Oh, we could do this. And that's not small things. It takes a lot.
The internet has been huge. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I run the registration from my cottage.
Yeah.
People email their forms in. I get e-transfers. I can do it all from my cottage because, and it's seamless. Nobody knows I'm at my cottage. They do now.
They do now. Oops. But you come in religiously to play though, every Saturday.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're here for the important stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, so it'll be really exciting. And the season is about to start.
The season starts next Saturday. Yeah. And full slate of games. Everybody's getting their skates sharpened and their elbows sharpened.
Well, I thank you so much for your time, for talking about Women's Hockey Club Toronto.
Well, thank you, Lee.
The value that you bring and all the wonderful people who are playing.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.